Why do we fear making even the smallest mistake in life? We often feel deep shame after a simple wrong step. Why do we remember our failures for years and constantly blame ourselves?
That is completely true, because I catch myself thinking this way all the time. Just this morning, I accidentally sent a work report to the wrong chat. Nothing terrible happened, but I worried about it for 2 hours afterwards. I kept thinking that I looked foolish in front of my colleagues.
Hello, everyone, dear friends. Welcome to our podcast. This is our cozy space for motivation, psychology, and conversational practice. Here we learn to speak freely, understand ourselves, and develop useful habits. My name is Anna.
And my name is Max. We are very glad to see each of you in our new episode.
Today we will talk about why mistakes are actually very useful. We are used to treating any misstep as a total disaster or personal failure. But what if mistakes are the only true engine of our personal growth? By the end of this episode, you will look at your slip-ups differently.
That sounds very encouraging. But why is it so hard for people to fail? When I do something wrong, I immediately feel completely helpless. It seems like everyone else is doing great, and only I am struggling. Why do we even experience this unpleasant and destructive feeling?
Our brain always treats a mistake as a direct threat to our social status. We fear judgment from others and want to look like confident experts. Besides, we rarely see other people make mistakes, but we always notice our own. People usually share only perfect results, great victories, and major achievements. Nobody posts their endless doubts, tears, and regular failures online. This creates a false illusion that the rest of the world lives without difficulties.
That is a very accurate point, because behind-the-scenes work is always hidden. On social media, everyone seems incredibly successful, calm, and completely flawless. We compare our messy reality with someone else's perfect showcase and feel sad. But in reality, every single person makes thousands of wrong choices in life.
Exactly. And this is a basic rule of development for every living creature. Think of a little child who is just learning to take their first steps. How many times do they fall before they can run forward confidently? Hundreds, or maybe even thousands of times every single day. Do parents scold a child for every unavoidable fall? Of course not, because everyone understands this is a natural learning process. But as adults, we completely forget this crucial life law. We start demanding perfect results from ourselves on the very first try.
Yes, I remember my very first English lesson at school so well. I was so afraid of saying the wrong word that I stayed silent. It felt better to say nothing than to make a silly grammar mistake. As a result, I lost a lot of precious time because of fear. Back in school, I never really learned to speak English comfortably. But as soon as I allowed myself to make mistakes, my progress accelerated.
Your personal experience proves that mistakes are a valuable source of information. An error does not mean you are foolish or unable to learn. It is simply precise feedback from reality that shows the right direction forward. When you learned to ride a bicycle, you also lost your balance regularly. Every fall showed your body how to steer and how to use the brakes. Without these practical hints, you would never learn to keep your balance.
So a mistake works like a compass, rather than a final life sentence. But why do we feel such intense pain in the moment of failure?
Because our pride hurts when our expectations suddenly clash with reality. We always want a quick and easy triumph without extra effort and stress. But the most valuable life lessons always come through overcoming hardship and disappointment. Recall any major setback in your life that eventually led to genuine success.
A few years ago, I applied for a prestigious and well-paid job. I prepared for the interview for a whole month, but received a polite rejection. On that day, I felt completely crushed and entirely useless. But that rejection pushed me to open my books and study English seriously. 6 months later, I found another company with much better working conditions. Now I am truly grateful for that painful rejection at the interview.
You see, that closed door actually opened amazing new opportunities for you. We often cannot see the true value of events right when they happen. Sometimes it feels like the world is ending, but it is just a new beginning. To speak any foreign language fluently, you must make thousands of spoken mistakes. You cannot speak perfectly without going through this long journey of trial and error. The most successful learners are not those with rare natural talent. They are brave people who accept their unavoidable slips and awkward moments calmly. They ask simple questions, try again, and are not afraid to look like beginners.
So the only way to avoid mistakes is to never try anything new. But living in constant fear would be incredibly boring, dull, and completely empty. How can we finally learn to handle our missteps calmly without drama?
To begin with, you just need to change one main question you ask yourself. When trouble happens, do not ask, "Why did I ruin everything again?" Ask yourself a different, constructive question. What valuable lesson can I learn here? The first question brings only sharp guilt, sadness, and deep disappointment in yourself. The second question activates critical thinking and helps find new, effective solutions. Stay patient and show genuine kindness to yourself during hard times. Take the valuable experience with you and leave self-criticism and guilt behind. A mistake should be your wise teacher, not a source of constant inner suffering.
Great words, Anna. They perfectly describe the right attitude toward any life difficulty. And now it is time for our traditional section called Notebook. In this part, we explain key concepts from our conversation in simple words.
The first word today is slip. This word means a small mistake, an incorrect action, or an accidental failure. For example, we can say, "Every slip helps us understand our task much better."
The second important concept is feedback. This is information about the results of our actions that helps us make adjustments. For example, a mistake is just honest feedback from the world, not a personal failure.
And the third concept is experience. This is the sum of all knowledge, practical skills, and lessons learned in life. For example, every mistake we make turns into priceless life experience in the future.
In our next episode, we will talk about the art of truly listening to others. We will explore why listening is a powerful but often underestimated conversational skill. You will learn several simple ways to listen more attentively and understand people better.
Be sure to share in the comments which past mistake helped you grow the most. We will be very interested to read your personal stories and discuss them together. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for new episodes.
Thank you for spending this time with us and listening to our podcast. Allow yourself to make mistakes, learn something new every day, and be kinder to yourself. See you soon in our next episodes, friends.
See you next time.